Hey guys, how's it going? Jared from the Vinyl Corner, and today I will be reviewing one of my absolute favorite releases of the year so far, and that is City Morgue's debut tape, Volume 1, Hell or High Water. So City Morgue is a New York hip-hop collective comprising of two rappers, Zilla Kami and Sauce Mula, and their in-house producer, THRAXX. And these guys have been making a ton of noise this year with viral singles like 33rd Black Glass, Shinner's 13, Skatehead, and they have just been getting a lot of attention for taking the Florida underground SoundCloud thing going on, the very heavy, blown out bass trap music idea, but they're infusing a lot of ideas of punk and metal into it in a way that's kind of reminiscent of nu metal of old, but they're doing it in such a way that is very creative, inventive, and very modern, and isn't as bad as most nu metal unfortunately turned out to be. But this album is their debut, and I have been hyped for this ever since I heard 33rd Black. I had been aware of Zilla previously from his works with 6ix9ine in his early career, which songs like Yokai and Helsing Station are some of my absolute favorite songs of this generation, but unfortunately 6ix9ine went on to do his pop rap thing. But Zilla has been taking on the mantle of that sound and that ideology of two rappers with two different styles talking about very similar topics but approaching it in way different ways. And they made a hell of a debut here. So I apologize in advance if I say a couple things repetitively a couple times throughout the video. There is a lot of the same lyrical ideology going on here and a lot of the same sonic palettes, and I'm probably going to mention a lot of the same things going on. Again, that whole SoundCloud sound and their ideologies of the dark side of society. So it's not to discredit the album at all. It's an extremely varied album for what it is and how quick it is, but a lot of the same things run throughout. So I apologize if those things are said, but let's hop into the album. Starting off with the first track, Caligula, they really couldn't have picked a better song on the album to start this off with. This song is an absolute beast. THRAXX shows off his great production. It starts off super slinking and dark, but it builds to this really nice just punch and this come in from Zilla on his hook. And Zilla's hook on this is absolutely fantastic. It's rapid fire, but it slows down. It's catchy as hell. And his verse has a really great line comparing himself to Caligula, the European emperor, who was obviously very tyrannical in his time. But it's a really great introspective verse on, how he feels like he's this warlord that needs to be released. And then Sauce snaps on his. His is just completely Junkyard Dog style energy. And that's a lot of their relationship in a nutshell in this first song. Zilla tends to be usually a little more slow, but he can be very fast. He's a little bit more methodical, a little bit more heady to a degree. And Sauce is just straight up like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna go sell drugs, I'm good at this shit, like, don't fuck with me, like, I'll kill you. And it's a perfect dynamic because, again, it's in a lot of ways the same, different sides of a same coin, but they're just approaching it in such different ways that they're always bouncing off of each other, but their energy is always reciprocated. And pretty much everything that sums up this tape is on this first song, and it only gets crazier from here. Track 2, Arson, is pretty much just that in a song. It's an absolute burner. This song is crazy. I love Zilla's hook on this, just talking about burning a house down, enjoying the shit out of it. He just seems so menacing, but it's like so playful and so, again, catchy. And it gets really stuck in your head. And then Sauce's verse is just crazy. The guy's like rapid fire flowing the whole time. And it's a great little track to transition and just get a lot of energy ramping, getting ready for what's to come next. So with the crazy energy of Arson, it goes right into the more dark, the more Sauce Mula focused Ken Park. And focusing on Sauce here was great because a lot of times people really doubt him as the weaker of the two. They say, oh, I like this song, but Sauce Mula killed it, or something along those lines. But this song shows how important he really is to City Morgue and what he's capable of. This beat is super dark. It has this nice little guitar sample going throughout it. It's just super creeping along, super trembly. And Sauce slows down his delivery, and he shows that he has a lot of versatility with his flow on how he stretches his words. And yeah, dude just sounds still like an absolute animal, like he's ready to kill you if you look at him wrong. And yeah, the beat on this is absolutely amazing. I also love the punk inspired hook. It's just like it kind of sounds like some oi punk type shit if it were slowed down. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. I really like, again, that they focused on Sauce here, because he gets shit on a lot for no reason, because he is an absolutely fantastic rapper. The next track, track 4, is definitely a highlight for me, Grave Hop 187. This song is just the absolute epitome of a banger. The beat on here is so glitchy, but again, it's got that blown out bass, those rattling hi-hats, that crazy amount of energy going for it, and everybody on here snaps. This has a feature from Black Cray, and he just kills it. Like, Black Cray is so underrated, and I'm really happy Zilla put him on here and utilized him the way he did, because he fits perfectly in the style of this song. He slows it down, giving it a little bit of a build up to Sauce and the hook after him, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. The beat is just monstrous, and everybody brings really hard verses, and again, a lot of personality. After the insanity and the grave hopping of the previous track, we go into the Ronnie J produced Lamborghini Getaway. And this seems like a perfect transition in the album. They were doing some crazy shit in the last one, and, you know, now they got to get in the Lambo and get away. But this song is really awesome. The Ronnie J beat, it's a little bit more mainstream than a lot of the stuff on here, but it's still really dark, just has a really creeping presence to it. It has a bounciness, and that's matched by the guys. They have both pretty bouncy inflections for their normal selves. And yeah, it's just a fun little song about, you know, using a Lamborghini to get away from doing bad shit. And again, a lot of the aesthetic and the lyrics are along the same lines, but these guys are just delivering them in such a captivating, such a catchy way that it still remains interesting throughout. Track 6 is definitely, again, one of my absolute favorites on here, Nuka-Cola, and this is just such a car rattler. The beat on this is so dark, it's so heavy and brooding. It's got those deep blown out bass hits, and yeah, this is just another really captivating, fun track. The flows from these guys are really awesome, but the beat is just so there, and these guys use it to their fullest extent. The hook on this, I love the flow of it, and all of the references all over this track are absolutely hilarious. Everything from Liu Kang and the skateboarding company Spitfire to Elmer Fudd. So yeah, this is just, again, another absolutely hard-hitting banger, and definitely one of my favorites. From one favorite right into another, we have PTSD. Again, one of my absolute favorites on here. The beat by THRAXX is absolutely dope. It epitomizes pretty much everything that City Morgue goes for aesthetically. Again, very dark, grimy, but this one has a really nice guitar sample that's led with like a small little like effect, and it's part of the beat, and they're just rapping over it, and it works so perfectly, and it's just so seamless. But yeah, everybody is doing awesome on here. Sauce has one of the best lines on here, talking about how he's going to crash the coupe and then do the Crash Bandicoot. The first time I heard that, I was hysterical, because if you know these guys, what they look like, how they act, imagining Sauce doing that just fits his personality, and it adds just a really menacing hilarity, dark humor to this album that's prevalent throughout the whole thing. These guys have just such a twisted sense of humor and fun, but it's really fun to go along with that ride and just enjoy and forget about all of the societal norms that confine a lot of people. So what kind of really piggybacks off of the last song. It has a lot of the same elements, the guitar sample track, but this has super clattery drums on it. Like, everything's just like glitching and clattering in such a way in the background that's just so invigorating, and it's moving at such a crazy pace. And again, these guys are just absolutely hilarious. Zilla has this one line on here where he's talking about serving G's of drugs out his window like a McDonald's, and yeah, obviously, again, if you know what these guys look like and what image they go for, that image is just absolutely hysterical. Even if you don't know what these guys look like, that image is just hysterical, that he's that confident and cocky that he just wants to put a drive-through on his house and serve drugs because he knows he could do that. So Yeah, this track is absolutely fantastic. Really, again, this one's a little bit more bright than the previous track, but it's still got a really dark, menacing edge. And again, those drum hits are so good, and they just clack and clatter so perfectly. Yet another highlight comes right after in the form of Snow on the Bluff, and this is a hell of a song for them. This is one of the more weird like tracks they've ever rapped over. The instrumental here is really really glitchy. It's just really downtrodden, but it's super glitchy and all over the place, very colorful, and their deliveries on this are absolutely fantastic. They still have that Junkyard Dog snapping energy, but they're doing it in such a way that works perfectly over this beat, and it just like keeps creeping along at such a really interesting pace. And the hook again on this one is excellent. I love Zilla's flow on this, how he uses his voice and the different timbres, and I just love how he shows off all of the stretching that he does on his voice, because it shows off that raspiness that he has that's just absolutely essential to his sound. So yeah, this track is fantastic. Again, a fantastic show off of what Sauce Moolah can do. And yeah, this one is again one of my favorites. The second to last of the new tracks before we get to the previously released singles, Downer is definitely one of the better hooks on the album. I love it. Him saying that I'm a downer baby, I'm an asshole. It's just, he's not screaming or yelling on this song, Zilla, of course. But it just commands such a presence, and you can tell that this isn't just them needing to scream and be absolutely insane to command a presence and to have their own personality. It's really just there in them, and I absolutely love seeing that. And also the beginning of Sauce's verse on this is absolutely hilarious, comparing himself to Richie Porter, the really famous cocaine dealer from New York. And yeah, again, glorifying that dark side of society, part of their whole aesthetic and theme, but it comes off really natural. It seems like it would fit these guys' personality, and yeah, it's absolutely hilarious, and again, another fantastic track. So the last of the new songs is Aw Shit, and this is produced by Kel24K, and I absolutely love this. It's an all Zilla song, and yeah, he absolutely kills it here. The beat is super kind of dreamy and ethereal, which is way different than anything on the tape, which I find to be very interesting, because in their No Jumper interview, they talked about how they're just trying to use this tape to kind of get into the industry, make a lot of noise, get people's attention, and then they're going to do stuff after solo Sauce Moolah and Zilla and more of the people that are involved with City Morgue. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what comes of that, especially hearing Zilla on a beat like this. It's, again, just very dreamy, very kind of upbeat in a way, but he fits perfectly on it. His flow is absolutely fantastic. The bass hits are placed in just a way where they're so catchy, but like that dreaminess never goes away. It's just like kind of soul crushing but lifting at the same time. It's absolutely crazy. And yeah, this is a really good way to end the album, but we still have the 3 singles to talk about. So there's kind of 2 ways you can look at the album. You can look at the album like it finishes with Aw Shit, or a way that was brought to my attention, which I hadn't thought of previously, is you can look at the 3 singles on the end as the bonus tracks, since most people already knew those songs. They were pretty viral, so yeah, whatever way you want to look at them, the 3 singles are all still absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to talk too much about them because they're pretty known at this point. Schindler's 13 was a great showcasing of their catchiness. 33rd Black kind of perfected the formula. Still definitely one of their best songs, if not their best. It has an absolutely insane beat. It has that real like metal punk vibe to it, and it's just absolutely insane all over the map, lyrically, sonically, all of that shit. And Skatehead is absolutely fantastic as well. I love Zilla's verse towards the end of this. It's absolutely rapid fire, and it's got a lot of crazy shit going on, and it ends with machine gun fire, which again, talking about the No Jumper interview, they said that their solo albums are going to be the machine guns behind the battering ram that is this album, the debut. And yeah, ending it on the machine guns is still a perfect way to end it. So yeah, this album really is just fantastic cover to cover. I just have a really select few minor complaints. The only minor complaints with me personally are slapping the 3 songs at the end without labeling them as bonus tracks kind of looks lazy and it doesn't fit the album sequencing. I feel like they could have easily incorporated those songs into the track listing and made them all fit, because they still sonically fit. I just feel like they're out of whack in a weird order. But really, besides that, I like all of these songs. I could definitely see people getting tired of the aesthetic, but it's like 32 minutes. It's in and out. And for me personally, it really doesn't get tiring any second. This is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. Again, I've been a fan of Zilla since the early singles this year, and I've known about him for a while, but I really wasn't expecting this album to be this fantastic. And I'm absolutely ecstatic to say that I love this album, and I feel like everybody in the City Morgue clique definitely delivered. And I would personally give this album a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, guys, that is my review of the City Morgue debut tape Volume 1, Hell or High Water. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about the album. And also, while you're down there, hit that description, check out all those links, hit that like button, subscribe. And until next time, guys, have a nice day.